Govinda Govinda. Jai Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, and Jai Srila Maharaj Srila Bhakti Roko Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
And Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Please excuse, however, we are in a world where we are liable to make mistakes, etc., etc. And it's good for my ego that I'm late sometimes, because then I can't say, I'm always on time. But I am on time, but for what my brain thinks is on time today. Okay, dear devotees, I'm with you happily with Rupak. Hare Krishna, Rupak. How's London treating you? How is London treating you? Are you remembering Krishna? We still can't hear you somehow, but anyhow, we can see you, and I think you said London's treating you fine. All right. Jayan Narada Prabhu and the SCS Math West London branch means Lavanya and Hare Krishna. Click. All right, to find out very soon.
Gone around with
a beard.
Yes, the beard.
You had a beard before? No.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Okay. Goran Ryan, please excuse. Right. All right, dear devotees, yeah, happy to see you. This is the London program, so we're happy to be with you in West London and East London, and also West London, Rasamoy Pandita Devi Dasi, and Lavanya Mayi Devi Dasi, and Vijay Krishna Prabhu. Also, we are meeting in East London, and our Lavanya Mayi Devi. Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Govinda Govinda. Rasamoy in East London. See, here's my notice for the London Zoom. I better cancel it. Okay. 8:7:15. Okay, dear devotees. So please excuse, we've come together. I'm here. Let us give our obeisances to each other. Excuse if you've already done this, but for me, at least, Vancha Kalpatarubhyas 3% Eva Pranam Avanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And to the devotees around the world who've joined us, Sham Prabhu and Vijayananda Prabhu in Ireland, Favourable Devi Dasi, South Africa, Leela Shakti Devi Dasi in Brazil, Uda in Latvia, and Rukmini in either Colombia or America at this time, probably in Florida, right, Rukmini Didi?
Nandavats Maharaj, yes, in Florida.
In Florida, okay, in Florida. Jai. And Tungarasa Devi Dasi, also with a picture of the Samadhi just behind me, the Samadhi of the Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Gurudev. So to all of you, happy to be with you all. And I'm here to serve. And Devashis Prabhu gave us, of course, a wonderful title, the longest title ever yet. Everything should be done that encourages the service of Sri Krishna and his devotee, and whatever is conducive to the state of exclusive surrender must be executed. Such a firm conviction is called Anukulyasya-Sankalpah. And this must be from Sri Prabhupada Jivanamrita. This direct quote given here.
Yes, ma'am.
So Devashis Prabhu, tell me, what have you discussed so far today?
Well, nothing, actually. This morning I saw Srila Janardhan Maharaj off, returning to the USA after our last week we were in Ireland with the devotees over there. and we had a very nice program there. First few days with Suvasini Didi and her family, which was very nice, especially a big treat for me, getting South Indian prasadam every day. My favorite is South Indian. And then we went on from there to Limerick to be with the devotees there. We stayed with Somyasham Prabhu and Vijayananda Prabhu, and they looked after us very nicely. We had 2 programs in their new center there, and with good attendance each evening, and very happy to meet all the devotees there, very enthusiastic, and it was really very nice, really great program. And we got back.
Oh dear. Great.
Don't know where that's coming from, but anyway. We've lost your audio, Maharaj. Oh, hang on. Was that coming from you? That. Okay. So, yeah. So, and anyway, Maharaj went this morning. I'm a bit exhausted today because I was up at 1:30 this morning to take my daughter to the airport for 3 o'clock. She had a flight at 6 o'clock, so to Spain, and then after that I went to the West London Temple, stone's throw from Heathrow, as you all know, for the Mongol Arti, and met Janardhan Maharaj there, and we went to the airport together with all the devotees to see him off. And because this week is the half-term holiday, the airport was absolutely rammed full of people on there trying to make a holiday somewhere. So much stress for a few days' enjoyment. I couldn't quite understand it, but anyway, it was very nice. Nice to have Maharaj with us for the last couple of weeks, and he's now on his way back to the United States. So that's my. And then I drove home from there this morning, and I've just been kind of resting since then. But I'm still a bit out of it. But yeah. So just this has been something on my mind. This verse, acceptance of the favorable, which Guru Maharaj it's his own verse actually. Krishna Karshnagasad Bhakti Prapanat Vanukuluke Krityatva Nischayas Chanu Kulya-Sankalpah Uchate. And that our title today is the translation of that verse. And it's Guru Maharaj's explanation of Anukulyasya-Sankalpah, or acceptance of the favorable, which of course is very important in the practice of devotional service. Whatever is favorable for the cultivation of Krishna Bhakti, for the service of Lord Krishna, for the service of his devotee, that we have to accept and cultivate that and fan that, where we find that within ourselves, to fan that. And the next thing is the rejection of the unfavorable. But really, if we are conscientious, then almost automatically acceptance of the favorable includes rejection of the unfavorable, because to reject the unfavorable is favorable to Krishna Bhakti. And so that's also important, that that by developing a taste for Krishna consciousness and for all aspects of Krishna consciousness, naturally we lose our taste for the things of this material world. But it may be a gradual process. It may not be immediate. And even when we lose our taste for them, we still have some addiction to those things, that in this material world. And Srila Govinda Maharaj told us the story of the 2 sadhus walking along the river in the winter, and one of them, and very cold, and one of them saw a blanket floating down the river. And so he said to his friend, "Oh, if I swim over and get that blanket, when we dry it out, we can be warm under the blanket. So he jumps into the river and swims across and grabs hold of the blanket. But oh dear, the blanket's not a blanket at all. It's a bear. And as he grabs the blanket, the bear grabs him. Then he's struggling with the bear in the water, and his friend shouts from the bank, "Prabhu, you just leave it, leave the blanket." And he shouts back, "I'm trying to leave it, but the blanket won't leave me." So this is our situation in the material world. We grab hold of things that we think are going to be useful to us in some way in this material world, or give some comfort to us, some convenience, or something that will be helpful in our life. And we grab hold of those things, and we find out that those things in themselves take a hold of us. Those things that we thought would be helpful to us, they then actually take a hold of us, and it's very difficult for us to let go of those things. So, and that is actually the cause of the 10th offense against the holy name, which is to, after hearing so many things, not to develop love for Krishna. And that is because we're holding on to the things of this material world, even when we know that they may be harmful to us. So it's kind of like, if someone's an alcoholic and they go to Alcoholics Anonymous, they have to stand up and they say, the first thing they have to say is, "Hi, my name's Bob," or whatever their name is, and I'm an alcoholic. It's been so many days since my last drink, and so on. So, and part of that, like healing, first of all, is recognizing that you have a problem, and secondly, is understanding that that's always going to be with you. They never say, "Oh yeah, I haven't had a drink for 4 years. I'm not an alcoholic anymore." They say, "No, I'm still an alcoholic. I just haven't had a drink for the last 4 years." So, similarly, we can stand up and, "Hi everyone, I'm Devashis and I'm a material world addict." And that's the fact, the material world is always pulling at us. But what do they do when they have that in that association? When they go to these Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, they get what's called a sponsor. So that's when they get the urge to go for a drink, when things get on top of them. "Oh, I'm going for a drink." Instead of going for a drink, they ring their sponsor and say, "The urge to go for a drink has become really strong. Help me." And the sponsor will help them. "Yeah, I'm coming over. We'll do something else," or, talks him down from it. So this is, our sponsor is the association of the devotees. When we feel the urge to run towards the things of the material world that we held on to before coming to the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna, then we run to the devotees. We try to embrace the company of the devotees. "Please save me from my inauspicious karma that wants to take me away from Krishna, that wants to take me in another way. Please, devotees, save me." And we heard from a very nice thing from Srila Gurudev. He said, even if physically you can't be with the devotees, if you can meditate on the devotees in the right way, then you can be in their association, even if that's not in a physical way. If you can meditate on them, that's why in the morning we sing all these songs, and we're calling on the names of Mahaprabhu's devotees, Guru Gadadhara, and like in that song in the morning, Bhajare Bhajare Ama, and we're calling the names of the Lord's devotees to help us. So by remembering them, we can become strong in our devotional service. But especially important, actually, for everyone, new devotee, old devotee, the most important thing is the association of the Vaishnavas. If we can hold on to the association of the Vaishnavas, they will save us. Even Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when they began the first Vyasa Puja of Saraswati Thakur, and all the devotees were worshipping him, and when they'd finished all their offerings, he gave an address to the devotees, and he addressed the devotees, "Oh, my friends who have come to save me from this material world." So he wasn't thinking of them as his disciples, he was thinking of them as his saviors, those that had come to save him from the material world. So this is how we should think of the devotees. They've come to save us, and by their company, we will be rescued from this material world just by their association, and they will give us inspiration to continue in our devotional service. You know, birds of a feather flock together. So if we're interested in Krishna and Krishna's service, then we should run and try and find those people who are also trying to serve and worship Lord Krishna. Or as Bhakti Siddhar Goswami Maharaj says, we want to find the Krishna-loving people, the people who love Krishna. We want their company, and then maybe we'll also learn how to love Krishna. And that is all dependent on Krishna's devotee. So that's what we need, and that's the main thing. That's the main favorable thing to devotional service that we should accept in our life. And the opposite of that, we should give up the association of those who are not devotees of Krishna, because they cannot benefit us. And unless we're very strong, we won't be able to really benefit them either, but they may drag us down. It's like, you know, again, going back to our example of the alcoholic, if he goes back to his drinking buddies, they're not going to help him to give up his habit. They're going to say, come on, let's go to the pub and have a few drinks and have a good time. And, you know, if we're not strong, we're going to go for that. We're not going to be able to say, no, let's all go to the temple. They're going to say, forget it. So seek out the devotees and embrace that which is favorable to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Chanting the holy name, following the directives of Mahaprabhu to be humble, tolerant, to give honor to others, and most importantly, associate with the devotees, with good devotees, and especially devotees who are more advanced than ourselves. We will be so much benefited in our life. And that really is the essence of accepting the favorable in Krishna consciousness. So that's my little sermon for this evening. Over to you, Maharaj. No, you're muted, Maharaj.
Okay. Well, I'm here and I can ask the devotees if they have any question for me or something that I can be useful for, because Devashis Prabhu gave us a very good summary of the theme of the day. And really, that is everything. And then we have a whole chapter on accepting the favorable, which is based on Rupa Goswami's third verse of the Upadeshamritam. And I believe that the very beginning of that acceptance of the favorable in Prapana Jivanamritam, the very first thing that Guru Maharaj quotes, I believe, is, I don't have it in front of me, but is Chaito Dapanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shayakar. It is, yeah. Shayakar Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vadanam Pratipadam Punamrita Shvadanam Savatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So the holy name, the holy name, the holy name. But of course, the holy name received from the devotees and in the association of devotees, always, this is the best thing for us, to be with the devotees. But the holy name will be constantly with us. Hare Krishna. And can I ask how many of you have read Prapana Jivanamritam this year, 2022? Put up your hands if you have. Oh dear, oh, tears are flowing down my cheeks and dripping down onto my keyboard, not onto my books of Bhagavatam. Okay, Narada Prabhu, you have Prapna Jivanamritam, and it is worshipable.
Maharaj, I'm halfway through. So I'm kind of put my hand up halfway.
Oh, you put your hand halfway. Okay, well, very good.
Yeah, I'm halfway through.
So let us encourage you to complete the other half, to keep some steady reading, because it is a wonderful book. And
Thank you.
And there was another hand came up, Tungarasa Devidasi. So she also read. And I think Rukmini may have tried to put up a hand. Have you?
No, Maharaj, I'm sorry, I didn't. I know.
No, okay. But Tungarasa Devi, we're very happy that you have read the Prapna Jivanamritam this year. Hare Krishna. Okay, who has read the small booklet Inner Fulfillment this year? Put up your hand if you have. No, Rasamoy Pandita, not putting up a hand. Like 3 weeks in a row, we asked everyone, please read Inner Fulfillment and then come with some treasures. I still got my notes from those earlier talks from London, when I put at the end, yes, next week, we've asked everyone to read Inner Fulfillment. Oh dear.
Maharaj, you know if that book is in Spanish?
Yes, it's in Spanish. What is
You can find it online?
It must be, everything is online somewhere. But tell me, what would Inner Fulfillment be in Spanish language? And I can maybe even send it right now. What is the name Inner Fulfillment in Spanish?
I'm trying to think.
I probably don't, no. I have a few books in Spanish here, so I do not know. Please ask. Yeah, I've got a few books in Spanish, but even I can say that these titles don't fit Inner Fulfillment, I'm afraid. But El Principio Original, In Search of the Original Source, that is in Spanish. That's a similar kind of booklet, and it is by Srila Govinda Maharaj. I can put that in the chat box here and you can download it. It's very small, it's like 3.6 megabytes or something.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
El Principio Original. But I don't
think... So in Spanish, it would be Complemento Interno.
Okay. Well, I don't
see that.
Yeah, I don't see that. But it must be, I think. So many books are in Spanish. And maybe Ishanuga can give us a hand if she turns up a little later on. Okay, anyway, I'm humbly asking and humbly hoping, and I'm proud of Seva Devi Dasi and Tungarasa Devi Dasi that you have read Inner Fulfillment this year. Hare Krishna. And Devashis Prabhu, of course. We're always proud of Devashis Prabhu. Actually, we're proud of all of you because you're devotees. So we are very happy. And you know that we have a very beautiful 2 pictures. I mean, all pictures are beautiful, but we have 2 pictures side by side in the wall in the temple here in Vilagovinda of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then as we look at the wall, then to the left is Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And when I see those pictures every day, and I always get this impression, they're watching to see how their mission, how the Mahaprabhu's message is being carried and being practiced. And we see that, kind of feel that mood of Srila Saraswati Thakur and of Srila Prabhupada. So They are seeing each of you, they are seeing us, they're seeing all the devotees, and they must be happy to see that some clean current of devotional service, that this is being maintained in this time after their disappearance. Hare Krishna. And see, Pel, just remind me, please, your good name.
Krishna Nandini.
Yes, Krishna Nandini Didi in Limerick. Thank you very much. Please excuse me. On the tip of my tongue by recognizing it. Very good to see you. Don't hide from us.
I'm trying to start the video.
Trying to get the
now
video.
here.
All right, wonderful. So very happy to have you with us, and yourself, Soumya Sham Prabhu, Vijayananda Prabhu, and the devotees. Then you all met with Janardhan Maharaj in Devashish this week?
We did indeed, yes.
All right. Well,
was
tell
lovely.
me one thing you learned, something that gave you some inspiration.
Oh, that's putting me on the spot now. I learned so much.
You heard so much. You were in a flow of good
learned
things.
so much, yes.
I suppose Madhusudan Maharaj, one of the things on one of the talks on one night he was in Limerick was around, we were talking about faith, and it was about nurturing your faith and, you know, keeping it alive and keeping it, you know, keeping it as maybe, you know, I'm just pure or trying to keep it. Yeah, keep your faith. And that was the question that I'd asked them. Janardhan Maharaj had said about association to devotees, and that is true. That association that's our practice. That's how we learn. That's the teaching in that sense in True Guru, and particularly about serving devotees and being, you know, humility, tolerance, and respect, and not giving honor. I'm giving honor to others, not expecting. So that was one of the topics that we did one night. So that was really, it was really nice to hear that.
Yeah.
Jai. And Vijayananda Prabhu. You know I'm going to ask you.
Yeah. So it was like, obviously that Maharaj was saying like, even when Maharaj gave his talk after that, Maharaj was like, literally, even though he didn't say anything wrong, he said he was apologetic of like, even if I'm sorry I offended anybody, even though he didn't offended anybody, and we enjoyed his thing. So that was showing that even his humility in terms of, he was like kind of trying to teach, not probably, so he was trying to kind of tell us like, you know, that the devotees which are around us, the association we have to respect, you know, and we have to honor them, honor every part of it, you know, so that we don't offend, you know, other devotees in any shape or form, like, you know.
Jai. To stay safe in our devotional journey.
He also, I'm just remembering now, one of the things, how important association is, you know, being with other devotees, how important it is to spend time with other devotees, and our meetings every week and as often as we can, to spend time and to honor other devotees. That's one of the things I took from it anyway.
Jai.
Jai.
And Srila Gurudev, he says that Gurudev says that he's so fearful to make offense to any devotee that he gives his respect to devotees also of all sampradayas, giving respect but from a distance. But they are Vaishnavas, they have some Vaishnavata, some devotional quality, maybe following Ramanuj or Madhvacharya or some different line which is not taking us all the way to Krishna consciousness, but still they are Vaishnavas. So we must be conscious for giving due respect to all Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
Well, just to say, I found inner fulfillment in Spanish.
It's here to Lila Shakti Devidas is also put it here in the chat box from Prabhu.
Oh, okay. So it's called La Satisfacción del Ser.
That's it. And there's in the chat box, I've downloaded it too, because when the Zoom closes, as you probably all know, we lose any links to that. I also downloaded it because it is important, and we do have, of course, Spanish-speaking devotees. So there it is in Spanish. So Rukmini, Didi, are you still with? Yes, Rukmini is with us.
Yes, Maharaj, I'm here.
Yeah, please do download that, or this got the link is there in the chat box too. And if you click on it, it'll probably download straight away. I see you've got an iPhone. I'm sorry for you, but I'm sure you'll manage to find out where it puts it on your iPhone.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Otherwise, Pandita can help you. She's got an iPhone too. Hare Krishna. Okay. So Krishna Nandini Didi, what did you learn from Devashis Prabhu?
Oh, sorry, you're talking to me again.
Yes, what did you learn from Devashis Prabhu?
Well, it took me a while to realize where I had seen him before, and then realized it was on the Zoom meeting. And he was so kind and helpful to the Guru, Maharaj. And I suppose he just reiterated really what Maharaj had said, and it was interesting to hear all their travels and where they go and all the different places. I believe he's going over to yourself, over to Villa Govinda shortly. Is that right? Am I?
That's correct. Actually, we've both been invited to go to Hungary for the opening of a new center in Budapest, the capital.
That's right. Yes, I heard that. Yes.
So we'll be together for that festival, and then Devashis was going to escort me back to Villa Govinda just to make sure I come back to Villa Govinda. So yes, he'll be with us for I forget how, maybe 10 days or so. So he'll be here for some time.
Oh, that's lovely. That's great.
And maybe Soumya Sham and Vijayanand will maybe coming to Hungary. I do not know. Are you coming over to Hungary for the?
It was. We were invited, and we're just trying to figure out if we can do it or not at the moment. Yeah. So we really love to go. So Hare Krishna, we'll see.
All right. So it's also a good sign after 2 years of the COVID lockdown, shutdown, and everything, and that it's a good sign that the devotees can come together. That festivals are taking place, and London is also going to have a festival, their annual anniversary for the opening, like official opening of the West London temple near Heathrow Airport, and the deities arriving there. And different places, some festivals are taking place this year. And actually, after Devashis Prabhu has been here in Italy, he's going to go to America also. He's being very active. He's going to America to the Govinda Mela in the temple of Srila Janardhan Maharaj, who visited you just now.
Oh,
So
that's really lovely.
He'll be representing Europe, perhaps. Many of us can't even go to America now because America still has the COVID restrictions. If you're not initiated, no, it's not. If you're not vaccinated, then, or if you're not vaccinated, you can't go. So even though we've had COVID, we still cannot go. We've had COVID and nature did its job. All right. Rasamoy Pandita Devi Dasi, you must have been at the temple during the visit of Janardhan Maharaj and of course Devashis Prabhu. What did you learn? Or what would you like to share? Either.
Yeah, I had a question actually, Maharaj, for you on the topic of the talk.
Okay, so you answer my question first, and then you can ask your question.
Yes. I think one thing that's always this is like what you can observe when with sadhu sangha and seeing devotees and Vaishnavas in person, face to face. It's always so striking how and inspiring how humble they are, you know, in dealing day-to-day dealings, and how they're practicing humility and applying that. And I find that it's that's something that's always very, very inspiring to me and helpful for my own personal practice. So not so much a quote or something, but more like an observation.
Who cooked for Janardhan Maharaj? Because he stayed in the West London temple, right?
He did, and he also visited East London Temple, and various devotees cooked in West London. But I have to say, when we joined Maharaj on his visit to the East London Temple, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before, it was pretty much magic, the prasadam. It just was an endless stream of amazing sabjis. And it wasn't just 1, 2, 3, 4 sabjis. It was like 8, 9, 10. And they were delicious. And it was all, they were very different. Like different devotees cooked. And so like that feast has made a particular imprint on me recently. Everyone was very enthusiastic to serve Maharaj and to make sure that he got some wonderful preparations. So
that is one way, or the special way to his heart, no doubt. And Devashis Prabhu knows it, and somebody in the East London temple was responsible for all of those preparations. So Devashis Prabhu, well done.
Yes, it was endless. I couldn't believe it. Really, really sweet. But I also have a question for Maharaj, yes. if I should, because there's this really beautiful article by Srila Guru Maharaj called "Utilize Everything." It's on Gaudiya Darshan, and that even just the title, it always stays with me, and it always helps me to try to observe things in the world as an opportunity to utilize everything in service. So to try to transform my mundane vision of something and apply a more Krishna conscious perspective on it. And then there's this in that article, there is one paragraph.
So who is this by?
This is by Srila Guru Maharaj.
Srila Guru Maharaj, yes.
Yeah. If we are sincere, then we will see that there are so many dangers and difficulties come to us to help us, to test us, and we can utilize them for realization of our higher purpose. Not only favorable things, but unfavorable things also may be utilized for our progress. And I just was hoping that maybe you could, you know, just shed some light on this for our nourishment. The idea of utilizing everything, even the unfavorable, or not, even unfavorable.
Well, this is the very essence of Krishna consciousness, actually, because this is the very nature of Krishna's land, that everybody is utilizing, not exploiting. This is a beautiful word, or what the materialists think is a beautiful word, the word that we are exploiting the resources of this, and this. But it is utilizing, they are utilizing everything, whether it's the flour or the grains or the milk or anything at all, they're utilizing for Krishna's service, and they only see everything for Krishna. And it's an automatic transaction. Whereas unfortunately, we are in the diseased position where we see something, as Guru Maharaj says, we see something beautiful and we want to exploit that. We think it's for our enjoyment, but we have to be able to change everything around the other way. And when we've got a beautiful flower, when we've got some nice vegetables, when we see a nice mango, then we can fairly readily think, oh yes, this is a beautiful thing, we can utilize this in the Lord's service. But when unfavorable, apparently unfavorable things are happening, we must utilize this also in the Lord's service as a strengthener for our faith and as a strengthener for us to be able to understand that, number one, nothing is happening without the Lord's sanction, so that it is happening by the grace of the Lord. Two, that the Lord's sanction for the devotees, in particular, everything he does, it's for our benefit. So we must learn from getting a good slap from our father with the cane or from the headmaster. When we were young, the headmaster would beat the kids with a cane. I heard ridiculous thing that is illegal now, but I can tell you it had some effect. The children did not want to go into the headmaster's office to be beaten. Anyway, Krishna, he hasn't heard about this man-made law that you can't beat somebody with a cane when they're very naughty. So in some way or another, we need to see what's apparently negative and make this for Krishna's service. That, okay, Krishna, you're being kind to me by giving me this beating. I'm going to be a good boy or a good girl from now onwards, and I'm going to do things properly. And another aspect of seeing of the unfavorable things is that, as Guru Maharaj also points out elsewhere, we see from our relative position, which is looking down. We are down, we are looking from down. We are seeing a circumstance. But Krishna sees the big picture. And so the environment isn't to work according to our likes and dislikes, it's to work according to Krishna's likes and dislikes. So then we must utilize every situation, whether it's apparently favorable or apparently unfavorable, and stick to our principle, the principles of the teachings of our masters, of our gurus. So really, we can then see that everything is favorable and can be utilized in the Lord's service. Though, for us, if we see, a scorpion or something, difficult to think how we're going to utilize it in the Lord's service, except avoid it and know that these are also, there is a verse in Bhagavatam which mentions that such things as scorpions and snakes and poisonous and animals, etc., they are there also by Krishna's arrangement in order to give the due punishment, for the jiva souls who are doing wrong. So, everything is all related, but I can't immediately think of a way that we're going to use a scorpion in the Lord's service, except, I see the scorpion, and now I'm reminded that there's danger at every step. We don't even know what's waiting for us, what our karma is. But dear Lord, whatever happens, I'm here at your shelter. So the scorpion can remind us, I wasn't chanting Hare Krishna as I was walking along here. And one day I was bitten by a spider in India. And, I don't know which spiders are poisonous and which aren't, and which this and that. But I was bitten on the leg, on the foot, just above the foot. And, it gave me a good bite. I was aware I was being bitten by the spider. But the poison, I could positively, it wasn't guessing, that I could feel the poison coming up my leg, coming up to the top of my leg and coming to the main trunk of my body. And in slow enough, it's coming up my leg and it's coming like this. And I was wondering, when this poison comes and hits my heart or, some vital organ, I wonder what the result is going to be. And I did start chanting Hare Krishna. And by Krishna's grace, I wasn't fearful, but I thought, now's a good time to chant Hare Krishna. And this, anyway, so, unfavorable situation got me chanting Hare Krishna. So many things are there. And we stopped when we were in Thailand. We saw a scorpion this big, like a big scorpion, and black with the, the tail at the back. But he was crossing the road, and Paramananda Prabhu, I was surprised. He stopped. We were riding bicycles at the time. Anyway, he stopped and he got the scorpion to the side of the road, because, I mean, it's not a good idea crossing the road. I mean, scorpions aren't necessarily conscious of the rules of the road, are they? So anyway, but I was quite surprised. I was happy to cycle past it and, okay, I've got past the scorpion, but more than that, Paramananda got past it, stopped, and then got some leaves and got the scorpion off the road with compassion. So we learn from there too. But anyway, the scorpion was just an example. I was trying to think how we'll use it in Krishna's service. But so many things that are apparently inauspicious, we have to know that Krishna has a bigger picture. But yes, really, we need to see everything in relation to Krishna. And this comes to one of the most fundamental aspects, prasadam. As long as we are going around thinking, I'm going to enjoy this, I'm going to enjoy this, and taking for our own enjoyment, it's going to be very difficult to see how everything can be used for Krishna. So even Gurudev told directly, and it's maybe it's included somewhere, if we can conquer the tongue, then if we can take prasadam, if we can only honor prasadam, then we've practically conquered everything. The solution is in prasadam. And of course, it's in the holy name. Of course, it's in association. But what's the, yes, the holy name and association. But what's that association doing? It's not just, I'm meeting with the devotees and now I'm going to be spiritual. The devotees are encouraging us how to lead the devotee life and how to chant the names of the Lord and be reminded all the time. But the land of the Lord, everything is dedicating, including the plants. And this is also a difference between, like, so many people, they become vegetarian, they become vegan, they become fruitarian, they become various things. You can say with a good motive, they're trying to lower the footprint on the environment, not to cause pain, etc. But it's not possible to be karma-free in this world. And it's kind of just trying to be negative and negative, then you're going to eat dry leaves, then you're going to eat only the fruits that fall from the tree, etc. But still, Guru Maharaj points out that still you cannot be free from karma. If you don't eat that fruit, it is the food for another. So you're eating another's food. So all of these things is kind of dry, just, I won't incur any karma. But we are living. By breathing, we are breathing in and out microbes and this, that, and the other. By walking, then we're walking unknowingly on so many ants and so many creatures, by doing anything. So we need to try to do everything for Krishna, and then whatever naturally must be incurred in the way of birth and death in this birth and death world, it will be compensated for by the fact that we're doing for Krishna. But yes, it is a good thing to keep in our mind, and it is a good meditation too for us of how to utilize everything in the service of the Lord. Accepting the favorable, and it is a wonderful chapter in a wonderful book of Sri Prapana Jivanamrita. Hare Krishna.
And not just the book, Maharaj. Srila Gurudev said it was a manifest scripture. And you can say, like a form of a goddess has come in the form of the actual form of Sharanagati, the goddess Sharanagati, in the form of a book.
Right.
So it's actually manifested from the divine world, Srila Gurudev said.
Hare Krishna.
Through Guru Maharaj's pen.
Yes. Okay, dear devotees, we see an empty office in the West London mat because no doubt everybody's busy. And Saraswati did send me a note before saying, please excuse, I'm caught up with so many busy things right now, but she'll see the recording later. And to those of you who do see the recording later also, giving our obeisances to you and appreciate your participation in this way too. So Gauranatarashu and Lavanya Mayi, they're doing some savor in the temple. And I see it's getting darker outside there with you. And it's getting darker outside behind, as you can see with us too. Because that's the nature of the evening. Leela Shakti, did you want to say something? But something short, because we're a little over time. My fault, please excuse me. Leela Shakti, would you like to say? You have something to say, I think, a contribution, a treasure.
Dhanavad. Actually, I just going to mention that when you asked about the Prapana Jivanamritam, I'm helping with to review so we can reprint it in Brazil.
Okay, Jai, very good.
Yeah.
And Trivikram Maharaj being very positive and progressive in his development of the Brazilian mission, and he sent a beautiful plans for making a new temple there. And he said that this is not a dream, it is practical, and it is all very practical to do, and very much based on Chaitanya Saraswat Math's proportions and mood and feel, and the publishing of the books, and so many things taking place.
Yeah.
And Devananda Prabhu joined us in the meantime, and Radha Krishna Prabhu from Mexico. Mexican Radha Krishna Prabhu.
No, Dandavat Maharaj is Kamalakanti Dasi.
Ah, okay, Kamalakanti Devi Dasi. Okay, so welcome under the name of Radha Krishna. All right. Okay. All right, wonderful. And Suvasini, did he join us? And she was there. And I heard that Janardana Maharaj and Devashis were both super happy with all the South Indian prasadam, Suvasini Didi, that you treated them to. So full marks, you made great Vaishnavas greatly happy. So well done.
My good fortune to host them. Yes.
And I asked the others in Ireland where he'd been to, and also Rasamoy Pandita, where he'd been to in London. I asked the others too, and I can ask you, Suvasini, just very briefly, because we're right at the end. One thing that you learned or would like to share from their visit to you, Devashis Prabhu and Janardana Maharaj, our dear Janardana Maharaj.
Well, I was thinking about it, Maharaj. Maybe I was thinking maybe next week I can tell, but nothing comes to my mind suddenly. But yes, we were just very happy to have them here, and as Maharaj was very friendly, and that was really to come to that level, the low level, and to be friendly with anybody, that was very special quality. It's so that was really very touching, and so happy that Devashis Prabhu also accompanied him, and this very first time here our place. So we're very
Right. And Janardana Maharaj for some years has been saying, I want to go to Ireland. And then year by year, something happened. Ramai, he was due to go, and then Ramai Prabhu, the Pujari, he passed away when he was in London. He had to change his trip. So finally this year, he was able to fulfill his wish and your wish also, to be there with the devotees in Ireland. So we're very happy for this too.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
Okay, dear devotees, my fault, we've gone a bit over time. Please excuse, but we're happy to be with you all and trying to remember some aspects of our Krishna consciousness, the value of the devotees, the value of everything. Everything has value when it is utilized in Krishna's service or somehow reminding us of Krishna. And if we think anything is separate from Krishna, that is Maya, because nothing is separate from Krishna. A bit of a summary of that thought there. All right, so let us chant the glories. Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar, Govinda, Dev Goswami Maharaj. Ki Jai. And Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Rockok, Sridhar, Dev Goswami Maharaj. Ki Jai. Jai Vishwaranya Om Vishnupad, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Ki Jai. Jai. Next generation Om Vishnupad, Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Ki Jai. Now Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai. Our present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Navadeep Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math Ki Jai. And the deities of Guru Maharaj, Shri Saparika, Shri Guru Goranga, Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Devashis Prabhu Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo.
And Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evata patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namaha.
So have a successful Seva week and let us meet again soon. We are here to serve together, Gurudev's team. Govinda, Govinda.
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.